Memphis deputy shot 4 times by a local rapper wins a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
You shoot a police officer, now you become instantly famous.
Why he now says,
I wanted to prevent him from gaining a penny off of what he had done to me.
Mayor Harrington is known for his combative style.
He needs to meet me outside.
Now he's taking the fight to former heavyweight champion Joe Frazier.
I think Joe Frazier's in trouble.
Why the mayor is fighting for a cause. And who's responsible? Here 911 operators argue over a street address while a little girl lays dying.
Is this Memphis or county? No, that's not Bartlett. That's Memphis.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, try your luck with a house flipping game. It moves fast, so pay attention. Person A buys house out of foreclosure, sells to person B for 385 smackers. Foreclosure again. Person C buys from B and sells back to person A. Foreclosure sell. Foreclosure sell. Again and again and again. Confused? Maybe I-Team reporter Heather Crawford can help.
In an 8-month investigation, we uncovered the flipping of homes all over the city involving the same group of people. Why this type of scheme may raise interest rates and property taxes while lowering your property value.
The lowdown on the flipping game on Fox 13 News at 9 coming up. And go behind the scenes at the big American Idol finale spectacular. Fox 13 News at 9 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. We're so glad you joined us. I'm Merle Purvis.
I'm Steve Dawson. Rapper turned convict Tab Turk Virgil now has to come up with $10 million from jail. That's how much a judge ruled Virgil must pay the sheriff's deputy he shot 4 times. Fox 13's Jason Carter joins us live from the studio with more. Jason?
Well, Steve, the judgment comes 3 weeks after Virgil pled guilty to shooting Shelby County Sheriff's Deputy Chris Harris. Now, Harris and his attorney have to get Virgil to pay up from behind bars.
That's when I felt the first bullet impact me in the face. The second one hit me in the bicep. The third one was in my right thigh, and the fourth one was through and through my shin.
Looking back on that night in 2004, Deputy Chris Harris is thankful he's still alive. In the midst of 5 months of rehab and 3 surgeries, Harris thought to himself that the man who caused this should not profit from his misery.
His value as a rapper became increasingly higher because he shot a police officer. And that angered me and angered my family. I wanted to prevent him from gaining a penny off of what he had done to me.
So Harris filed a lawsuit against rapper and now convicted cop shooter Tab Turk Virgil.
What kind of message was that sending, that you shoot a police officer, now you become instantly famous again and you're making all these millions of dollars?
Harris won $10 million. Now it's up to Harris's attorney to find Virgil's money. After all, the rapper is serving 12 years in jail for admitting to attempted second-degree murder.
Our job is to uncover the assets that we believe are out there and available to satisfy this judgment.
Randy Fishman says they've already started locating Virgil's financial resources. But after all Harris has been through in the last 2 years, he's reluctantly optimistic.
Getting a judgment for $10 million is one thing, actually getting the money is something different.
And we tried to contact Virgil's attorney, Jay Bailey, to not only get his take on the decision, but to ask if Virgil has that kind of money. Bailey has not returned our phone calls. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Jason Carter, Fox 13 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Jason. A 16-year-old is being charged as an adult in the robbery of the Kroger near Hacks Cross. Michael Simmons faces robbery charges for the April 29th incident at the First Tennessee Bank branch inside the Kroger, which is located at 7942 Winchester. Simmons' bond is set at $150,000.
Tonight, police say a roving band of armed robbers who targeted victims in East Memphis is off the streets after they arrest the alleged teenage mastermind. Fox 13's Bernard Watson is live in the studio with this story. Bernard?
Steve, all 6 suspects are facing multiple charges of armed robbery tonight, and investigators say they weren't to be played with. They were so aggressive, their actions so traumatizing, at least one of the 5 victims is getting psychological help.
Yes, they're very dangerous.
But tonight, these 3 men, another adult, and 2 juveniles are behind bars. Memphis police call them a roving band of armed robbers. And you may be surprised who they say was calling the shots.
We're thinking that one of the juvenile is the mastermind.
Working in the early morning hours, police say the suspects preyed on innocent businessmen. Investigators say the suspects usually started off here in Hickory Hill, stealing a car from one of the many apartment complexes and then heading to East Memphis hotels.
From the hotel, they would drive around the parking lot a couple times and catch unexpected victims getting out of their car, getting into their car, and they would jump out the vehicle and rob them.
Detectives say the suspects were all armed and hit the Hilton on Ridge Lake several times.
Most of the robberies, they took the victim's vehicle, or they took the vehicle's property consisting of money, any personal property of value, just anything that they could get and come back and sell and make money off of it.
Investigators say there are at least 5 victims, including a FedEx executive. And they say the suspects didn't play around.
Was anybody hurt in any of these things?
You didn't have anyone seriously hurt, but emotionally, you have people still going to their doctor, getting treatment for the emotional trauma that comes with a robbery.
Now, although police say they have only linked the suspects to 5 cases, they believe they may be responsible for many more. In the studio, Bernard Watson, Fox 13 News.
All right, thanks, Bernard. It's a story you saw first on Fox 13 Monday. A little girl nearly drowned Sunday after confusion over which emergency crew is supposed to respond. Well, tonight we hear the 911 tape. In the call, you will hear the caller, a Memphis dispatcher, and a Bartlett dispatcher debating who should respond to an emergency call at 4085 Remsen Cove.
Is this Memphis or county? Okay, she said she's in Bartlett. No, that's not Bartlett. That's Memphis.
What are we in? Memphis or Bartlett? Bartlett. Remsen, R-E-M-S-E-N. Yes. Remsen Cove.
I know exactly where you are, but that's in city of Memphis.
Well,
You just handle it, or can you handle it?
We have a Bartlett address. Can someone please
It's a
come?
Bartlett zip code, but it's a Memphis. You live inside the city of Memphis, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Bartlett, we'll handle it since you won't handle your call. Thank you.
Ultimately, the girl's father took her to a nearby fire station for help. The teenager is fine, but the family says the 911 system is broken, and they want dispatchers to become more concerned about patients than boundary lines.
Police are on the lookout tonight for a wanted couple from Missouri. Independence police say Richard Davis and Dina Riley videotaped themselves sexually assaulting Marcia Spicer before killing her. Officers also say the couple may have had something to do with the disappearance of 36-year-old Michelle Ritchie. Her picture was found in the couple's apartment. If you know the whereabouts of Richard Davis or Dina Riley, see them here in the Mid-South of Memphis area, call 528-CASH or our hotline at 320-1281. Our phone bank is open. It's being manned by members of the Mid-South Fugitive Task Force. They're standing by to take your calls. And we'll have more of tonight's Mid-South's Most Wanted later in the program.
And today, former State Senator Roscoe Dixon went to Nashville to personally subpoena colleagues he thinks might help his corruption case. Fox 13's Teely Devereaux joins us live from our satellite center. She's got the names of those that are heading to court. Hey, Teely.
Hey, Merle. Lieutenant Governor John Wilder and State Senator Jeff Miller of Cleveland both confirmed Dixon handed them subpoenas today. Dixon's one of 10 people caught up in Operation Tennessee Waltz, and he goes to trial on Tuesday.
Did you drive all the way down here?
Roscoe Dixon's sudden switch from former state senator to process server may have shocked some, but not all. On Wednesday in Nashville, Dixon personally handed subpoenas to Lieutenant Governor John Wilder and State Senator Jeff Miller. Memphis Representative Joe Towns says it was a good move.
No, he should do it. The man is fighting for his liberty. I mean, what else do you expect for him to do? You know, if there are people in Bangladesh that can help this case, you ought to subpoena them and get them over here.
Dixon goes to trial Tuesday on charges of accepting more than $9,000 in bribes. The Fed set up a public corruption sting called Operation Tennessee Waltz, and Dixon got stung.
There may be people here that have a different insight of the story that can help his case.
Lieutenant Governor Wilder says he'll be in court, but doesn't know why he's needed. While Senator Jeff Miller may have a better idea of why he was summoned. Miller was investigated in the same case for accepting $1,000 from a lobbyist. Only he claimed the cash as a campaign contribution. Representative Towns says colleagues or not, Roscoe Dixon has every right to call people to court.
I would do the same thing. Anything or anybody, that includes inanimate object, anything that I thought would help my case, that's who I would want in court.
Dixon reportedly subpoenaed 3 others, but no word on their names. We tried contacting Mr. Dixon's attorney, Coleman Garrett, today, but we're told he was in court. Reporting live from the Satellite Center, Teely Devereaux, Fox 13 News.
Thank you, Teely. Hoping to raise money for his alma mater, Memphis Mayor Willie Harrington is stepping into the boxing ring. Mayor Harrington will be competing against former world heavyweight champion Joe Frazier. The boxing match will benefit Lemoyne-Owen College. Harrington won several AAU championships in high school, and former world flyweight champion Joe Willie DeMyers says Harrington will give Frazier a good run.
I think Joe Frazier's in trouble. Yeah, I do. Because Willie stays in pretty good shape.
The fight is set for September. It'll be held at the Peabody Hotel. Lemoyne-Owen has a month to raise more than $1 million to keep its accreditation. However, the school faces $6 million in debt overall.
This heat's already starting to feel like it's landing a haymaker. We had clear skies today, and that helped that sunshine shine on through. Right now, clear skies continue across the Mid-South. We have a few clouds popping up to the south and some bigger ones up to the north. In fact, if we follow that line, there's some severity up there, just about that Tennessee line up onwards towards that North Pole area. But what will happen here close to home over the next few days? You've got a big Memorial Day weekend coming up, and you want to know how to plan it. We'll have the answer coming up.
Hurricane season starts next week. Is the Mid-South ready for another round?
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, try your luck with a house flipping game. It moves fast, so pay attention. Person A buys house out of foreclosure, sells to person B for 385 smackers. Foreclosure sell again and again and again.
Why this type of scheme may raise property taxes while lowering property value.
The lowdown on the flipping game on Fox 13 News at 9, coming up next.
Pop, this is an original Revolutionary War rifle. It's called a Brown Bess. And he sold it to a brown dummy.
Sanford and Son, tonight at 10 on Fox 13. Fox, Thursday. The creator of American Idol returns to find the best dancer in the nation.
In dance, you've just got to go for it.
Some will break out, some will break down, and some just might break something else. So you think you can dance? Thursday night at 7 on Fox 13.
We're so proud of our grandson.
Today's the big day.
I always go the extra mile. And my truck?
And our car is from Jimmy Gray Chevrolet.
Jimmy Gray Chevrolet.
Every truck I own is from Jimmy Gray.
And while my grandson and I may not listen to the same music, he sure does drive a nice truck.
Come celebrate our 25th anniversary at Jimmy Gray Chevrolet.
Where relationships really matter.
Just can't seem to get a good night's sleep? Then hurry to the spring sale at Value City Furniture, where you'll save hundreds of dollars on luxurious mattresses by Simmons Beauty Rest and other top brands.
Right now, pay just $2.99 for a queen-size pillow top set by Simmons and save over half. Plus, save up to $500 on selected premium mattress sets.
For the best sleep possible, don't miss the spring sale at Value City Furniture.
High quality, low prices.
When was the last time an elected official actually made government smaller? Or controlled spending so property tax rates are their lowest since the 1950s? And the last time a politician actually kept his campaign promises? When was the last time? Recently, in Chattanooga, under Mayor Bob Corker. It's a conservative philosophy he'll bring to the U.S. Senate. Conservative principles, positive results. Bob Corker for Senate.
I'm Bob Corker, and I approve this message.
Asian soybean rust has growers looking for answers.
Where has rust been found? When should I spray?
But one question could make all the difference.
What worked best in Brazil?
Fulicure fungicide. It's that simple. The #1 single fungicide choice of Brazilian growers, proven best at preventing and curing Asian soybean rust. Better than Headline, Quadris, Domark, or Laredo fungicides. See the proof at FulicureFirst.com. Fulicure, first against Asian soybean rust.
New at 9, parts of the country may not be ready for it, but June 1st marked the beginning of hurricane season. After Hurricane Katrina, the American Red Cross says it made changes around the country and here in the Mid-South. Now the organization says it is ready. Fox 13's Melissa Scheffler live in our studio with the plan. Melissa.
Hey, Merle, tens of thousands of hurricane evacuees fled to the Mid-South last year. And with forecasters predicting another powerful hurricane season this year, the Mid-South chapter of the American Red Cross knows it will be called on to help.
American Red Cross workers fold up cots and blankets at Germantown United Methodist Church. While this is just a mock shelter, the threat of another hurricane season is very real.
We hope that it will never have to be used in this kind of a capacity, but the chances are, as we all know, it probably will.
This church is just one of 30 Mid-South shelters and one element in the Red Cross's plan. Hurricane Katrina's power rocked the core of the organization, forcing new disaster plans.
We now have stockpiled over 1 million client assistance cards.
The Red Cross ran out of those debit cards loaded with money just a week after Hurricane Katrina. Red Cross's Bill Hildebrandt says the organization is also stockpiling equipment this season.
We're pre-positioning cots and blankets around the country and certainly around the Gulf Coast and the East Coast.
Although far from the coast, the Mid-South chapter needs more volunteers here.
We're training our volunteers to be equipped that they can come here to the shelters and run and operate the shelters and help manage the shelters.
And in trailers, comfort kits are ready to go.
Folks will always need their toothbrush.
We're more ready than we were last year.
Ready as they can be, because when hurricane season begins next week, it won't be a drill.
Now, the Mid-South chapter of the American Red Cross needs more than just shelters. You can offer any kind of services to the organization. Call 726-1690, extension 1134 if you can help. In the studio, Melissa Scheffler, Fox 13 News.
Thank you, Melissa. It may have been a hot day, but some North Memphis neighbors still didn't appreciate the large waterworks show that erupted on their street. This morning, a water main burst on Alma off Jackson Avenue. Neighbors say a Matta bus drove down the street. A short time later, the water and rocks started to shoot up from the road. According to neighbors, this is not the first time this has happened.
We had the same problem up here, a couple months ago. It was like a little leak, and now it's the same problem down here. Well, the streets are bad, fix them. Hey, they shooting up on the light bill and the water bill. Come on, fix the street. You got enough money, fix them.
MLGW crews fixed the break while police blocked off the area. Matta says their buses drive over water mains every day and have not caused eruptions before. For many Americans, real estate has been a way to make a good living, even get rich. One way to do that, particularly in hot markets, is real estate flipping, the practice of buying a property, quickly turning it around and selling it for a profit.
For the past 8 months, I-Team reporter Heather Crawford has been tracking an unusual flipping pattern in the Memphis area. She joins us live in the studio to show us what she's uncovered in her I-Team investigation. Heather?
Well, Merle, we began looking into this last fall. What we found was a pattern of homes being purchased, sold, foreclosed upon, and then repurchased, usually by the same people over and over again. And while it's unclear exactly what is going on, what we discovered could affect neighborhoods throughout Memphis.
For the past 8 months, the I-Team has been tracking the sales of homes all over the Memphis area. They seem to follow a similar pattern, flipping back and forth between a group of people. And many of them seem to go into foreclosure, usually within about 7 months of being sold. Take, for example, this house in Central Gardens. Watch how it is bought and sold by several people who use the same address. According to public records, Makisha Williams bought 744 Melrose out of foreclosure in March 2004 for $145,000. Just a month later, she sold it for $385,000.